Okay, this is a quick rundown of my current knowledge of how to create flickering lights in Blender. This is a simple 6-step process with 5 mods used. Step 1, go ahead, create your light. I have an extra lights add-on from CG Cookie I'll leave in the description below, but any light will do. I'll bring in a ceiling light. Alright, step 2, in the light data properties tab, go to power, make sure your power is at 0, and hit I to insert a keyframe and open up the graph editor. Down to the power, and then open up the modifiers tab. You can adjust the settings to your liking, but I will try my best to explain what each one does. Let's go to add in a noise mod first, and let's call this one main noise. The strength determines how bright the light is. This determines how high and low the values are from the baseline. I choose 1000 since I made my world seem darker. You can restrict the frame range for any part of the noise by checking the restrict frame range and set your range. Then play with the settings up top. You can choose between 50, 100, 1000, or even 10,000 for your light's strength. So I will set my strength to 1000. For this first light, I'm going to choose to start at 220 and then end at 450. Then here we have the main noise value range. The scale spreads the noise out horizontally or how fast the lights flicker on or off. I'm going to increase this number. We'll stick with 12 for now. Offset shifts the graph to the left or to the right. Phase moves it up and down. Depth is the level of detail in the noise allowed. Alright, step 4. Add a limits mod to add high and low limits to the graph both vertically and horizontally. So let's go here, add a limits mod, and we are going to name this lights on limits. To have the light stay on for a period of time, check the restricted frame range in the limits mod. I use 260. And go to 450. After that, check your minimum Y and increase it to your desired strength level. I use about 330. This will also be useful to set a maximum Y for later showcase purposes. But now as we drag through the timeline, the light is gonna flicker to turn on, and then it's gonna be on, and then it's gonna turn off. Go back to the main noise to adjust the light's flickering on values with the offset and phase. So we can adjust this if you want a different value of how it goes on or off. I think I'll be happy with about that just for this showcase. If you have a dark drop shadow in your lights like I do, you can set the min Y to at least 0 and then it should go away. Maybe that happened to me after changing some of the world settings, but I'm not so sure. So it's going to add another limits mod. Go ahead and set our range from 0 to 260 it looks like. Go ahead and set the min Y to 0 and then that should fix that drop shadow. If you have it. Go and call this flickering lights on limits. If you want to make the lights flicker off, go ahead and add another noise mod and title it flickering lights. If I can spell lights, flickering lights off noise. Go ahead and set your range. I will choose 420 to 450 for me. 420 to 450. I will go ahead and set the blend type to subtract so it will slowly turn off. I will increase the strength, then I will increase the scale as well, and I will hold control for a smoother motion. Okay, that looks kind of right. Let's go ahead and increase the phase a little bit, maybe something like that. If you're having dark drop shadows because your line goes below zero here as well, you can add another flickering lights off limits mod and set your Y min value to above 0 if you're having that issue there as well, but you probably won't need that. Alright, step 5, step mod. Talking about steps, let's add a step mod. Go ahead and add a step interpolation. We don't need to change the name for this one because it's pretty self-explanatory. This gives the light more of that flickering light feel. Makes the light on or off. I will use a step size of 4. And you can see that it just makes the light on or off more accurately. You can play with the offset values if you want. And of course restrict the frame range, but that's not recommended. So now if we go ahead and play our light flickering animation. Flickers on, stays on. For however long we want. And then flickers off. Pretty snazzy stuff. Alright, step 6, organization and duplication tips. Keep your lights named in the outliner to whatever best suits you. Here is my example. So this is layer 1, right, and then I go to Then I go to layer 2 left, then I go to layer 2 right, and then if I go up again in the animation, then we got layer 3 left and layer 3 right, just to stay organized with the scene. And then I got them in their own collection called lights. Going back to this first light here, if you want to use the same data exactly, then create linked duplicates with Alt-D. So go ahead and press Alt-D, and then you have an exact duplicate of your light. If you want to have the same mods but customize them, add or remove with the new lights, then hit the copy button in the top mod section and paste them with your new light. So I will go ahead and add a new light. Go ahead and add a new ceiling light. Go ahead and press Shift S, selection to cursor. Okay, so I think this is the new light. Yep, this is. So I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to hit this copy F modifiers curve. And then something cool should happen if everything works. So I gotta hit bring this down to 0, hit the I, put some animation data on that, and then we go to modifiers, and then we can paste, and now I should be able to like do whatever I want to this kind of as I please with our beautiful titles and everything else inside. I can bring this way down if I want. This is the lights on. We can bring this whole thing down or up. And this will act as its own light, and this light will still have the old effects. If you want the light to go out here again, let's go to add another modifier, another noise modifier. We're going to call this one lights off mid, and this will be also a noise. We're going to leave this every place. We're going to set the we're going to go ahead and restrict the frame range. Let's go ahead and call it from 320 to about 350. And then let's go ahead and increase the strength. And then we can increase the scale. Let's go to increase the strength a lot. Set this to subtract. Go ahead and play with the phase a little bit maybe. There you go. If you want to take it a step further, you can add another limits. Call this lights off mid limits. Choose the same frame range of 320 to 350. Set a max Y of 0. And then there you go. And then honestly, you probably don't need that. You probably don't need the noise, so I just deleted the noise. If you're going to do the max Y of 0, then you won't need a noise, and you can just have the limits as your option as well for the light to flicker off in the middle and then come back on. So the light flickers on, goes off in the middle, goes back on, and then flickers off again. You want to repeat this action several times before your animation ends, then you can have the same light copied in the same spot a few times over. Just have like 2 of the mods to get this going for you for one light, and have that light go off, and then with that new light in its place with the second light, have 2 mods do whatever you want with that and have that light go off, and then for a third light, 2 mods or so go over with that and have that light go off, and so on and so forth. Just make sure you stay organized in your collection so you know what lights you're dealing with. But yeah, just having the same number of lights in your exact spot for your lights will allow you to do that several times of repeating the lights flickering on and off, or for however long you want with whatever effect you want. I do have some honorable mentions though. From Blender Vitals, create flickering lights in Blender in 1 minute. Jermaine Grant, how to make a flickering light in Blender. Architecture topics, how to make a flickering light in Blender. And then BrandonBlox'N.com website about flickering lights in Blender. I will leave a link to all that in the description, as well as the extra lights from CG Cookie if you want that as well. Please tips help future me mostly, but also some of you. Thanks for watching. Bye.